Hello, my name is Maria from mathmammoth.com. In this video, we're going to look at the standard form of an equation for a line. And here it is. It is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers, and also a, this first one here, is non-negative. So for example, 17x minus 2y equals minus 3 is in standard form. Alright, are these equations in the standard form? And write each equation in the slope-intercept form. 6x minus 5y equals 1. Is it in this form here, where we have some number times x plus some number times y equals some number? These numbers need to be integers, and a needs to be non-negative. Okay, a is 6, yeah. B is b 5? No, it's negative 5. B is negative 5, and c is 1. Yes, this one is in the standard form. And this other one? We have fraction here in the beginning, so no, it's not in the standard form. Alright, write each equation in the slope-intercept form. How do we get from this to the slope-intercept form? If you recall, the slope-intercept form was y equals mx plus b. Y equals. So, to transform this into that form, we solve for y. We isolate y alone on one side. Let me rewrite this over here. To solve for y, I need to isolate y here, or the term with y, so I will subtract 6x from both sides. And then I have minus 5 times y, so I will divide both sides by negative 5. Like that. But it doesn't really look like the normal slope-intercept form yet. This one here, y equals mx plus b. We need to kind of rearrange it a little bit here. So first I will distribute the division and divide both the 1 and this minus 6x by negative 5 separately. So 1 over negative 5, and then we have minus 6x over negative 5. This one is the same as negative 1/5. Here we have minus and then another minus here. It's basically minus 6x divided by minus 5, negative over negative, so it turns to a positive. And now we can see that it is almost in the y equals mx plus b form. We just need to flip these. Write the x term first. And we can also write it as 6/5 times x minus 1/5. So now we see the slope is 6/5, and then the y-intercept is minus 1/5. Then the other. This one here was not in standard form, but let me show you how we can actually make it to be in standard form. Because it has this 1/4, and it's an equation, so we can multiply both sides of the equation by 4, and then we will have an integer. So it becomes 1x plus 20y equals minus 8. So that would be this equation in standard form. It's still going to be the same line. If I graph it either from the one form or the other form or the slope-intercept form, it's all going to be the same line when graphed. These are just equivalent equations. They are not actually depicting a different line. But the task was to write this in the slope-intercept form. And for that, we need to isolate y. So it becomes y equals something. Let me copy it here again. And yeah, I could have started with the original, the 1/4 times x. But this looks easier to handle, so I'll use this form. Okay, isolate y, subtract x from both sides. Leaves 20y. And over here, minus 8 minus x. But I'll just write it as minus x, minus 8 already in this order. Then divide by 20. Now we have y equals this divided by 20, but I will divide by 20 this term and this term separately, so we will get directly to the slope-intercept form. Minus x divided by 20, and then minus 8 over 20. Okay, we can still simplify this fraction. And we could write this either this way or as minus 1/20 times x. And here this is divisible by 4, so 2/5. So that's our final equation in the slope-intercept form now. Okay, we have studied the y-intercept of a line, but there also exists the x-intercept for each line. And it is the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So for this particular line, the x-intercept here is -2. That's where it is crossing the x-axis. Y-intercept here is -1.5. All right? We can use these 2 points to graph lines that are given to us in the standard form. If the equation is in the standard form, then we can use the x-intercept and y-intercept to graph the line, instead of using slope and y-intercept, or instead of using 2 other points. Let's take a look at that now with these examples. Draw these lines using the x and y-intercepts. Okay, the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis, right? And that is where the y-coordinate is 0. And then vice versa. For the y-intercept, we have the x-coordinate 0. So what I will do is I will set in this equation x to 0. Okay, if x is 0, then I will find the y-intercept. And if y is 0, then I will find the x-intercept. But first, if x is 0, then this whole term is 0, right? I'm left with 2y equals -6, from which y equals -3. So y equals -3 is my y-intercept. And I found it by setting x to 0. Now I do it the vice versa. I set y to 0, and this term disappears. I'm left with 3x equals -6, from which x equals -2. So here in the x-axis I go to -2. That's the x-intercept. And now I have 2 points and I can draw the line. It goes like this. And then the next one, try that on your own first. Here I will set x to 0. 2x is 0 too, so this term disappears. I'm left with this equation from which y equals -3. Same point, y equals -3. Okay, then I set y to 0, and I get 2x equals 9, x equals 4.5. That is the x-intercept. So the line goes through this and this point. Like that. Okay, did you get the same? I hope so. Lastly, find the equation of this line in standard form. It is slope 2/3 and contains 4, 5. Try it on your own again first. We will first find the equation in the slope-intercept form, and then from there we will go to the standard form. And that is because the slope is given. Since the slope is given, it is definitely easier to use this first. And m is 2/3. And since it contains 4, 5, I will plug those in place of x and y to calculate for b. Y is 5, x is 4. All right, and now we subtract 8/3 from both sides. I will also write 5 using thirds. So we get that b is 7/3. Okay. So now we have this equation in the slope-intercept form, and now we will transform that into the standard form. Now in the standard form, we need to have integers, a times x and b times y plus c. A and b and c need to be integers. So we cannot have fractions. We need to start out by getting rid of the fractions here in this equation, which happens by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So here we go, multiply both sides by 3. So we get 3y, 2x, 7. So is this now the standard form? Not quite yet, because we needed to have ax plus by plus c equals 0. So all of these terms need to be on the same side. So we could move 2x on that side, but actually we need to have 2x on this side, and we will subtract 3y from both sides. And there we have it, except we could flip the sides now. Alright, this is the equation in standard form now. And we're all done with this lesson. I hope it was helpful.